Hey guys, today we're going to draw Michael Jordan. And here's a quick preview of how our drawings turned out at the very end. I hope you're really excited to follow along with me. This one's super fun and one of my new favorites. I especially love watching Michael Jordan play when I was a kid. It was so awesome, especially the dunk contest. Now we're using markers to draw and color with, but you can use whatever you have, like colored pencils or even just a regular pencil and an eraser. All right, let's get started. Hey parents and teachers, did you know we have a special place to draw without any ads or distractions? You can watch all of our lessons on artforkidshub.tv or in our official app available on Apple, Android, Roku, and more. It's the best way to draw together as a family or in the classroom anytime, anywhere, and without interruptions. Check it out and subscribe at artforkidshub.tv. Let's first draw his nose. We're going to draw it right here in the middle of our paper, but towards the top. We're going to draw a little sideways letter U. Then we're going to draw his eye right above his nose. And then we're going to draw another eye over here. Then we could also draw his eyebrows. We're going to draw them kind of angry because he's going in for a massive dunk. And my voice might sound a little off. I'm kind of dealing with some allergies. But we still got to find time to draw because it always makes us feel better. Okay, we're going to draw his mouth next. We're going to draw an upside down letter U. Kind of looks upset, but we're going to turn this into him yelling. So we're going to draw the bottom of his mouth. Then we could draw his teeth and also his tongue. You could draw it sticking out more, but let's leave it like that. Then let's color in that middle shape. Okay, now let's draw the shape of his head. We're going to draw an upside down letter U. And then we're going to draw it coming down further for his chin. And then we're going to come back up and we'll stop there. Then we could draw his ear. We'll draw the letter C. And then we could also draw a little shape inside his ear. So we got a line or curve coming down. And then we could also draw another curve inside. Yeah, okay, next let's draw the basketball right next to his head. So we're going to draw a circle right here. Then let's draw the lines on the basketball. We're going to draw the line going across the middle first. Then we'll draw a curve coming down this middle that crosses it. And then we're going to draw two more curves. These will draw more like a sideways letter U going this way. And then one going the other way. Okay, now we're ready to draw his body and his arms. So first, let's draw this arm going forward. So we'll draw a shoulder. Then we'll draw it coming down further. This is down to his wrist. Okay, and then we can come back up to his armpit and we'll draw the line coming closer to his wrist so that this distance is closer than this distance. Okay, now we can draw his hand. Let's draw his thumb first. We'll draw a letter U. Then we'll draw his first finger and we're just gonna add 3 fingers instead of adding all 4 or all 5. Sometimes I think this just makes it look a little better when you're drawing a cartoon. Okay, there's his first arm. Now let's draw his body. We'll draw part of it. So we're going to draw this first part here. And then actually, let's come up here and we'll draw his neck coming down into his body and then curving around and then up to his shoulder for his jersey. And then we could also draw the other part of his jersey for his arm. There we go. Okay, now it's really starting to look like him. Okay, next let's draw his other arm coming up and connecting to the basketball. So we're going to draw his shoulder coming out of his neck right here. We'll curve up, and then we'll curve down for his elbow. Then we'll curve back up for his forearm, and maybe get really close to the basketball. And then we could add a little curve for his thumb. Okay, then let's leave some space, kind of the same distance for his wrist over here. We're going to leave that distance here. Come down, and then we'll come back. And we'll stop there for now. Let's leave extra space so that we can draw his body. But we can come back up here, draw the rest of his hand, connecting into his wrist. Okay, now let's finish his jersey and the rest of his body. So his tank top's right here. We'll draw it curving down. Then we can connect the rest of his arm into his jersey. This arm got a little thicker, so the next time we draw him, I'll probably work on trying to make this arm look stronger so it matches this one. But that's okay, we just keep going. Let's draw a little wrinkle for his jersey. And then we're gonna draw the bottom of his jersey coming across. And we can actually turn this into his knee, his leg, and also his knee. So let's connect the rest of his body here. And then I'm gonna come out a little further, and then we'll come down for the rest of his leg. Okay, right here, we're gonna draw a curve for his shorts. And then we could draw the rest of his leg or his shorts coming down to the bottom of that curve, right here. Okay, now for his leg, let's draw his calf coming down to his ankle, and then we can draw the rest of his leg right here. And then to make his shorts look more 3D, let's finish them curving back up to his leg. And then we could draw his other leg coming down here, or his shorts coming down, and then we'll curve them this way. Okay, and now we're gonna draw the back of his other leg kicking back this way, like he's jumping, he's up in the air. So we're gonna draw a short line, then a long line. This turns into his knee coming back here, and then the rest of his calf coming down to his ankle. Now for his shoes, we could add a lot of details to his Jordan shoes, but we're gonna keep them simple. So first, let's draw, right here, we're gonna draw a tongue. So an upside down letter U. Then we could draw a curve coming down to the tongue, and then we'll draw connecting underneath. Then we could also add his socks up here. And let's repeat some of those steps on his other foot. So let's draw a curve to connect there, and then we can draw sideways letter U for his tongue, and also his socks. Okay, let's come back to this shoe. We'll draw it curving to the right, and then the heel coming down further. Now let's draw the front of his shoe. We'll draw a short line down, and then his toes coming forward and curving around to connect the bottom of his shoe. These are turning out to be pretty big shoes. Okay, let's add a few more details to his shoes. We'll draw the sole. This will make it so it doesn't look as big. And then we could draw another line on top of that. Now you could spend extra time on these shoes and get all the details more like his Jordans, but we're gonna just try to keep this simple. So I'm drawing these little extra, we got this curve here, and we got this curve on the front, and let's draw two curves there for the shoelaces. Okay, now let's come back here and try to get some of those same details. So we'll start here, draw a short line, then his heel, then let's come over here, we'll draw a short line, and then the front of his shoe with his toes, and we can curve around and then connect to the heel. All right, now let's draw this sole line. I kind of drew it with some bumps in it. Then let's also, we kind of have this detail here. So we got one there. And then for his shoelaces, we'll just draw a shape there and a couple lines for the shoelaces. They're a little different, but that's okay. All right, now let's add just a few more details on his shorts. So we got two curves here. Then on his jersey, let's write the letters 23. So first I'm gonna draw or write the letter 2 here. Then we could draw another letter 2 or number 2 next to it. And then let's connect there and there. All right, now for the 3, we're gonna draw or write a big number 3 for the outside. Then on the inside, we'll draw a smaller one. Right here, I'm gonna draw a line down and then the curve. And then we can connect the top and the bottom. And we did it, we finished drawing Michael Jordan, except we still need to color him. We could also add more details, maybe a basketball hoop, but you can pause the video and take time to color your drawings and add even more things. All right, let's speed things up. All right, we did it. We finished coloring our drawings, and I'm sure yours turned out really cool. Now you can add even more things. I added a hoop, and also I added some speed lines to make it really look like he's taking off. You can even draw the free throw line down here if you want. You can have a lot of fun and add even more things like players or even fans in the background. And I hope you had a lot of fun following along with me. We'll see you later, art friends. Goodbye.